And hello, welcome to the Team Brad Stinson podcast. My name is Brad Stinson, and this is podcast number 92 for 22. Now, it is my honor and privilege to bring on our next guest. He hails from West Michigan, and he is also a Marine Corps combat veteran. So he is a brother of mine, Semper Fi, Devil Dog. Bart Gramick is co-founder to 92 for 22, and this is a nonprofit organization based here in West Michigan, draws attention and awareness to veteran suicide. Sadly, on average, 22 veterans take their lives on a daily basis. The demons get the better of them. And 92 for 22 is drawing awareness to veteran suicide and PTSD awareness. And I could not be more proud and honored to bring this devil dog on, tell his story. His story is a fantastic one. He did a couple combat tours to Iraq, and both times he went to combat zones, like no shit combat zones. He was in Phantom Fury Fallujah and Ramadi in '06, and those two cities saw heavy combat. So his story is fantastic, and I'm honored to bring him on. But about his organization, 92 for 22, September 22nd, 2018, 92 for 22 is putting on a suicide awareness walk from the Family Fair in Allendale to the Brand Steakhouse on Leonard. And if you know anything about brands and what they stand for, that is why we're walking there. I highly encourage and challenge whoever is able to come out, join us in this walk, raise awareness for veteran suicide, let our veterans here in the community know that we care and we are here for them and welcome them home. And without further ado, the man you all came here to listen to, Marine Corps veteran, combat veteran, co-founder 92 for 22, the guy who slays his demons on a daily basis, my brother, Devil Dog, Bart Gramick. Welcome to the show, man.
Semper Fi.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. And Bart is co-founder of a nonprofit organization here in West Michigan called 92 for 22. It's a fantastic nonprofit organization bringing awareness to veteran suicide. And I wanted to invite him on the podcast. And thanks for coming, man. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about 92 for 22. How did this all come about, man?
Well, 92 for 22 started about last year, April. It was just supposed to be a walk of 92 miles just to kind of clear my own head. Obviously, I didn't want to do it alone, so I asked a few of my buddies to hop along. And we picked the trail called the White Pine Trail that left Comstock. And it travels all the way up to Cadillac, Michigan.
Beautiful trail.
It is, yep. And it's 92 miles, so that's where the 92 came from. But while we were in the planning stages of the walk, kind of wanted to make it a little bit more meaningful, put something behind it, put some meat behind it. So we decided to raise awareness for PTSD and suicide. For me, there's not enough of these organizations, and I truly believe in the power of numbers. The more of us that are out there, the more good that we can do, the more awareness we can spread and help more veterans. So as well, while we were walking, once the walk prevailed, they got this bright idea of, hey, let's start our own nonprofit organization. I thought it was crazy. I had zero clue how to run a nonprofit. So it was a learning process coming along. And we finally became our own nonprofit just this past March of 2018.
Okay.
So that's how we started. Yeah.
Congratulations, brother. That's awesome to hear. Now, it wasn't all cupcakes and rainbows, was it? Like now?
No.
You went through some transitional downfalls, right?
Absolutely.
And let's go there, man. You're one of the OGs, man. You went to Fallujah and Ramadi.
Yes. Yep.
And, who's ever listening to this, Fallujah, Phantom Fury, and Ramadi, heavy combat areas, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
So Bart has two legs to stand on when he's talking about nonprofit. I'm not going to steal your thunder, brother. Go ahead and tell your story, man.
So, I served from 2001 to 2011. Did a couple stints in Iraq and then came as a recruiter. And a year and a half later, I was medically discharged. And that's where it kind of, the whole storm started, basically. It was a rough transition. Obviously, the only thing you really know how to do is knife hand people and tell them exactly what they're going to be doing without any questions.
And a knife hand is fingers straight all together, right to the face.
Yep.
but not hitting them. It's just
No,
pointing.
no physical contact.
It's like your pointer finger, but all four fingers all at one time, almost like a sword, not a knife, a sword.
Yeah, so I quickly learned that in a civilian world, it doesn't work very well to get people to do what you want them to do. But it was a rough transition from like February all the way through May. Didn't know what I was going to do. Didn't know if I wanted to go back to school and how I was going to act as a 28-year-old in a room full of 18-year-old kids. I tried that for a couple months, and I thought I was going to lose my mind in that classroom.
It's pretty incredible. Like when you go back to school, when you get out, I always joke around. Pretty incredible how blue the sky is and how green the grass is and how pretty the women are and how good the beer tastes when you come back from a deployment.
These kids have no idea of what real world is, you know. I mean, they're still living with their parents. Think everything's cozy. They got a cell phone payment, if that, you know, if mommy and daddy's not taking care of it.
Yeah.
And it just the maturity level and the dreams that these kids think that they really have. A perfect example is when I was a recruiter in 06. You know, it was gravy. It was kind of it was still the good times. So people were kind of hesitant joining the military. Everybody was going to tell you that mommy, daddy is paying for my college. I don't need the military, don't need the Marine Corps. I was like, you know, that's fine. But that stuff quickly really changed back in 2008. And now those same kids that you marked that mommy, daddy's paying for college are calling you, and you're asking them the question, well, I thought you're going to State, or I thought you're going to U of M.
Yeah.
And their answer was, well, my dad just lost his job at GM, or my dad did this and that. Yeah. And when the crisis hit, you know.
And I was just going to say, just to mention what was going on in 2008, it was a financial crisis, the global meltdown of all the banks. So everybody's 401ks and retirement savings have all dwindled, and jobs are being cut across the country.
Yeah. And, you know, everybody say, hey, now it's time for the military. But unfortunately, at the same time, we kind of tightened up our ropes and our requirements to join. And it was kind of funny at the same time, you know, as it was difficult to see you denying these kids and telling them that you don't need them anymore, and the military was not the last resort for you.
It's pretty funny to see the military. They always accept everybody, right? And then we go through the financial meltdown crisis thing, and now the military is also not allowing people to come in and cutting force. I had a buddy who I went to artillery school with who ended up being a JAG officer for a couple of years. And I connected with him probably like 2009. He's like, bro, I fucking hate it. All I do all day long is court martial people for going to get a tattoo below their sleeves.
Yep.
Yep. I couldn't imagine, man.
So basically it just became like the elite boys club or girls club that people were trying to join, you know, and you had all the right to say, nope, we're not letting you in through the door. So, you know, it kind of made everybody realize what the military is, that we're not just taking all the trash that's left over in the streets just to fill our ranks. You know, we were able to choose the creams of the crops. To go back to the story, I mean, but, you know, so I felt kind of out of place. I didn't know what I was going to do. Didn't know what kind of job I was going to do. And so I kind of bounced around from here and there. And to be honest with you, in the past 7 years, I have moved probably about 4 times. I mean, it's just, my wife laughs at me. It's like we're PCSing every 2 to 4 years, you know.
And we're out of the military.
Yeah, but we're not, you know. So, I mean, I bounced around on the east side of the state. Now I'm on the west side of the state here in Grand Rapids, and things are not pretty, you know. And kind of get it back on 92 for 22. At that same time, as I was kind of really struggling with the demons myself, contemplating, you know, calling it quits. Numerous times that I locked myself in the basement in my workshop. Numerous times that I taste the iron on my pistol. You know, I tell this to everybody. It's not a pleasant place to be. And then you're also sucking down your bottle of Jack or whatever your poison was. But to be honest with you, the only time I ever felt any kind of closure or arms around me was really when, at that moment, you start posting stupid stuff on social media. But the amount of brothers and sisters from every single branch, I'm not talking about just the Marines, but that are started attacking your phone, you don't see that on the outside of the world. And that's kind of makes you realize that, hey, everything that I've done before right now is minute compared to what it was. People really do care for you, other service members, whether we thrash each other left and right all day long. In the end, they're going to be standing behind you watching your six. Whether you know. Man. not. I mean, just a random person that you've never even heard of that's living in Vancouver now or something like that will be contacting you, trying to reach out to you, asking you what they can do to help you get through this. And that's because they've been through those shoes, you know. And me almost losing my wife because she couldn't deal with it anymore. Eventually, I kind of broke down and said, hey, I'm going to go to the CDVA. But that stuff doesn't last forever. You know, go and see the shrinks at the VA. All you get aggravated sitting there talking to them because all they're doing is reading textbook.
Yeah, they're checking boxes.
And that stuff does not work. You know, there's no connection being made between them. And occasionally you get lucky and you get that one psych that served his time, did his time, seen the same shit as you did. And by the time you start building that rapport and that relationship, they up and leave and go do their own practice somewhere else. And now you're starting at zero again and trying to bring that closure between you and that new shrink again. And to build up that trust level, it takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of mental energy, and it kind of drains you at the same time. So I believe in talking with other fellow veterans like Christian, Eric, or any other vet that I come in contact with. I feel a lot more connectiveness as well as a lot more healing just talking with them, because you know they're not going to say shit the next day once you get through that little hump. And that's all it takes. It's just that one time for somebody to reach out to you and say, hey, what's up, man? Just spill your guts on me. They're not going to judge you because they know exactly what you were feeling. Talking to my wife, you know, she's like, why can't you just talk to me? I was like, if I say even half the stuff I wanted to say to you, then I would be like the ultimate villain. You'd be disgusted what's going through my head, you know, and it's hard for people that haven't been there to kind of understand and fathom.
No, correct. Well said. And by the way, thank you for Fallujah and Ramadi. That's badass. I would give you a high five, but you're on. You're not here in the office. So I know the co-founder Christian. He was battling his demons himself, and I think the story of you guys connecting is a pretty funny one. Was it Christian's wife or your wife?
It was my wife. So Christian posted a post on one of the local Facebook pages here for Coopersville Informed, asking somebody to go coyote hunting. And my wife reached out and said, hey, why don't you reach out to my husband? He's into that kind of stuff, yada, yada. And by the way, we're doing this hike. And, you know, it's crazy because you know how you meet people out in the civilian world or whatever. You're like, oh, hi, how you doing? My name is so-and-so. And then it takes you a while to start hanging out or whatever to click. Well, it wasn't that way with Christian. I mean, the moment we met each other, like, hey, what's up, brother? And then being like the tightest friends, you know, and it's different. You know, you immediately connect like you've known each other for God knows how many years. And that's what the brotherhood's about, you know, and that's what we're here about. We want to know people to know that we're here for them. And the way you said it, Brad, bet is best, you know. While you're in, you can't go take a piss or a shit without a battle buddy. Or go to the chow hall. So why would you want to battle it out here during your hardest transition, you know, all on your own without having somebody to pick you back up when you fall?
The transition is always a very difficult one. Think about it. I mean, I know veterans that deployed for 3.5 years on a 3-year enlistment. So you're telling me you're deployed for the entire time you're in the Army. You deployed for the entire time plus another half a year because you got stop lost. You just went 3 straight years of adrenaline high, being comfortable with dying, coming to terms with that. And then on top of that, you went and did some pretty gnarly things. And now you transition out and you come home and you finally have a chance to breathe and you're all by yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember the first time I got home, the first thing I did was go to Brit Motorsports outside of Camp Lejeune. They bought me that brand new crotch rocket, you know? You're
chasing that adrenaline high, right? I mean,
within a week, I had my license taken away with me for getting pulled over coming out of Wilmington at 145 miles an hour. You know what I mean? So
I'll touch on that. I mean, you're not the only one that does that.
No.
Right. I know 2 guys I served with, they never, ever rode a motorcycle. They came back from our first deployment and they bought Gixxer 900s.
And that's the thing. Only thing you see at the barracks is a line of brand new sparkling motorcycles, right?
Yeah. And these dudes would just, I mean, they'd hop on their bikes and fly to Vegas, or not fly, but they'd ride to Vegas. And, but they would fly on the way because they're, you know, going 90 plus miles an hour the entire time. Because out in California, motorcycles can go between the traffic.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So, I mean, these guys just fly right down both lanes the whole way.
Yep, and then it's constant. You can kind of almost relate it to a heroin junkie if you want to put it that way. They're always seeking that first high that they'll never get, right?
Yep.
And that's why when you get home from a deployment, that rush that you get, that be like, holy shit, I just had a green tracer round go above my left shoulder, standing between my buddy, and you're like, one slight move, and that could have been it, right?
Yeah.
So it's rush. After you get that, you're like, holy shit, I'm still standing here. You will never get that adrenaline rush where you jump off cliffs. I mean, it's just hard to get that rush, and
it's also hard to get that. And I don't know how to say it really, but I'll just tell you a story of where I'm coming from here. So we stood post at a VCP, a vehicle checkpoint, for 8 hours. So it was overnight. And then at about 05:30, we get a call that we need to escort EOD out to this possible IED. So, of course, begrudgingly, we mount up, and every Marine was like, why the fuck are we doing this? We just stood post, blah, blah, blah. Of course, the running joke was, well, we do it for the paycheck, duh, right? Because we get paid shit, right? So we take off, we start going, we drive for what feels like forever. It was probably maybe an hour's worth of drive, but considering the fact that you have to be mindful of everything, it took a long time. So we get out there. It was a flipped over truck, no IED. We are even more pissed off now. So we turn around and start coming back. And we get almost back to the VCP where we're staying. And the whole time my head is just dropping down into my chest. I'm so tired. I'm falling asleep. So it means like one cigarette after another, trying to stay away.
Have a rip it with you?
We already drank them all. Right. Contractors coming through the VCP that just drop off a whole crate full of those things. So we're getting ready to turn left onto the main road that brings us back to this VCP. We got hit. It was my Humvee. I don't know how, but we made it through. Nobody got hurt, but my Humvee was hit. And the percussion blast, I say it felt like it pushed us up onto two wheels, but it probably didn't. It just felt like it with the percussion wave, and all I saw was dust, and I punched it because that's what we're trained to do. Punch through. We get through, and I see the lead Humvee just laying down lead out of the 50 cal. Doof, 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 like, oh, hell yeah. That feeling was fucking awesome. We're just shooting at nothing, but we're doing something, right? That it was just a badass feeling. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's what it was. So I took my 9mm, stuck it out the smoker window, and shooting gangster style, doing something to defend,
Yeah.
You just feel helpless.
Absolutely.
So you're shooting at the tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like when we were
constantly chasing it.
Yeah. Like when we were outside of Fallujah, and we were set up in some farmer's field. And the first night we were there, they supposedly there was a truck on one of the bridges right next to us letting out mortar fires, and then they took off. Obviously, they only let up a couple rounds, and they scattered like cockroaches. But when everybody started lighting that bridge up, AVs, everybody, I mean, all you saw was tracer rounds flying. It looked like Star Wars. It wasn't even going towards the bridge. It was going over bridge, but everybody just started lighting towards that way just to fire some rounds off because you're pissed,
Yep. So good shit, brother. So tell me about 92 for 22. What do you got coming up?
So September 22nd, we have a event coming up, a local event. It's only 22K, so 13.67 miles, I believe, is the exact. We are having flags to sponsor. We're going to have a flag displayed every 22K, so every kilometer we're going to have a flag displayed. Flags are available for a $100 sponsor. And they're going to have it.
Now, the flag sponsor, I'll touch on that. The flag sponsor is if you know of a veteran who committed suicide.
A Michigan veteran, yep.
Yep, can pay $100. They will put a flag out in honor of that veteran. And if you do not know of a veteran, that's okay. You can still sponsor the flag.
Right. We'll find a local veteran here in Michigan that has become a statistic. So, and then from there, we're going to be walking from the family fair in Allendale. Step up is 8:30, and we'll be walking to Brand Steakhouse down on Leonard in Grand Rapids downtown.
I love that it's our brands.
And then we're going to be having a performance there by Kyle Jennings. We're going to have some good food, enjoy some good music, and just have a great evening once it's all over with.
Yeah, show support for our local veterans, because that's the thing. Like when you transition, you're by yourself and you don't realize that you're surrounded by other veterans. You know, like for me, I was struggling with just trying to reacclimate. I found out that the guy across the street from my parents' house was a Marine Corps veteran, World War II veteran, and he was an island hopper in World War II. If I wasn't so stubborn and closed off and isolated, that guy would have been a great guy to talk to. I mean,
that would have been an amazing story to sit and listen to.
Us Marines, we live daily to honor the blood trail. We live daily to honor the Marines that have gone before us. They laid the path, and we move forward because of them. We don't want to let them down.
Yep.
And we're told from day one at boot camp the story of the flag raising on Mount Suribachi. We're told about
Chosen Frozen.
Yeah, we're told about all these guys, and we build courage on them. That's why the Marine Corps birthday is such a big deal to us, right?
That's amazing. Like when you have an older vet tell you thank you for your service, and you're like, no, thank you, because you paved the way for us.
Yeah, and that neighbor would have been. Man, I wish I would have heard a story.
Yeah.
What was it like on the Black Sands? I want to know. And I found out because I read the paper. He passed away. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Right.
Like, I wish I would have talked to him. And just the other day, I had a veteran call me. He's moving from Chicago to here. Well, he lost both of his legs in Vietnam. And come to find out, he served in My Lai and Da Nang. And I'm like, you gangster. Like when you come house hunting, I'm buying you breakfast, man. I want to hear your story.
Yeah.
So now, especially the Vietnam veterans, we have to, I go out of my way to make sure I thank them.
Absolutely.
Vietnam, thank you for your service, because they didn't receive it. And they
absolutely.
92 for 22. Great organization. I'm all in. I fully support you, if you couldn't tell from my stuff. I'm walking. I challenge anybody who wants to walk to come on out. There's a small donation of $22. Show our local veterans that care. We're here for them, regardless did or did not do. We don't give a shit. We're still a brotherhood. You're still part of the family.
Yep.
They need to feel it. That's the thing. They need to feel it. How do you make them feel it? Let's stop fucking traffic with the amount of people we have walking.
Absolutely. Right now, currently, we have just over 30 people that are registered to walk. So it's one of our largest events so far. I know a lot of people get discouraged probably when they hear 92 miles. This is just 13 miles, guys. So register, coming out.
And you don't have to drive, and you don't have to walk the whole way if you don't want to. If you're not able to, that's okay.
Absolutely.
Not everybody is in as great a shape as Bart.
Get out of here. No, but we'll have a safety vehicle following us. So, all right. Yeah. So, we'll have a safety vehicle. You can hop in, take a break, and just regain and restart walking whenever you feel comfortable again. But if you're done after a mile, then you're done after a mile, But yeah, just coming out, support it. It'll be a great fun time. These walks are never boring.
While I'm walking, you bet your ass it's going to be fun. They're looking for volunteers. So, to pass out water, help stop traffic, register, that kind of stuff, and sponsors as well. Starts at $100 for the flag sponsor, or you can donate any amount of money. Flag sponsor is $100. Ranger sponsor is $500 to $1,000, whatever you want to give.
Yep, absolutely. Right? And you can register at 92for22.org.
With that being said, do you have any final comments, thoughts?
No, just appreciate you having me on and helping us spread the word. That's also, a great thing that you can be doing. If you can't participate in the event, just keep spreading the word for us and help us grow and help us help as many veterans here in Michigan that we can.
Absolutely. We have a great community here, great and prideful West Michigan, right? We have a lot of veterans here between Ottawa County and Kent County, and I challenge everybody to make them feel loved, to make them feel like they're part of the family.
Yes, sir.
You do it by getting involved. So good shit, brother. Thank you for starting this. I can't wait to help you stop traffic on the 22nd.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It might B, because I'm going to pass out in the middle of the road. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Semper Fi, brother.
Semper Fi.